of the game.
Well, don't be late, and I'll tell you why. These Colorado Rockies do a lot of damage and give up a lot in the first inning of ball games. The Rockies have scored 74 runs in the first inning, leading the National League in that category. They've allowed 75 runs, also leading the National League. They've hit 27 homers, surrendered 22. And on an individual basis, Nolan Arenado in the first inning, 10 home runs and 25 driven in this year. So don't be late for the party.
Scoreless first will be key for Patrick Corbin tonight. He's up against Tyler Anderson, 28-year-old lefty. And Anderson has been exceptional in his last two starts, as Jody mentioned in the pregame show. 8 scoreless innings at Dodger Stadium, and then 8 shutout innings against the Giants here at Coors Field. That was last Wednesday.
And very efficient in both of those outings. 8 innings, as you mentioned, in both starts. He threw 96 pitches against the Dodgers, only 93 against the Giants to get those 8 innings in.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the Rockies defense tonight.
Charlie Blackmon once again patrolling center field for the Rockies. Gerardo Parra will be in left field. Noel Cuevas in right field. It'll be Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story on the left side of the infield. DJ LeMahieu at second base with Ian Desmond at first. Chris Iannetta doing the catching for the lefty Tyler Anderson.
Rob Drake is calling the balls and strikes here tonight. Our plate umpire, Chad Whitson at first base. The crew chief is Mike Winters. He's at second, and Tim Timmons is at third. It's a beautiful day here, but we had a fire just beyond the ballpark in center field all afternoon long. Much of the smoke is cleared, but earlier today there was heavy, thick black smoke out there. Apparently a recycling plant just behind center field caught fire, but it's a lot better now than it was just 2-3 hours ago.
Well, we've been joking all season about the dumpster fire that is the Rockies bullpen. We thought maybe it had actually caught on fire, but that was several blocks away from the stadium at the recycling plant.
D-backs 5-1 against the Rockies this year, including that 3-game sweep here last month. They've won 8 straight in this ballpark, and David Peralta at .291 and 15 homers leads it off. There's a fastball.
A start for Anderson earlier this year against the Diamondbacks. He only went 2 1/3, gave up 7 runs on 5 hits and 4 walks. 3 of those walks came in his first inning.
Yeah, that was just the second game of this season, March 30th at Chase Field. 7 earned in less than 3. 1-1 on Peralta.
Yeah, the big blows offensively in that inning, other than the 3 walks. A.J. Pollock drove in a couple with a double, and Nick Ahmed hit a 3-run homer.
DJ LeMahieu has it at second, 1 away. Well, Nick Ahmed, as per usual, batting in the number 2 spot in the lineup against a left-handed starting pitcher. Nick with 11 homers, he's batting .226. And always with this 6:40 local start time here, there are some sun problems for a couple of guys in the first few innings.
Yeah, especially the first baseman on a ground ball to the left side. Looking right into that afternoon sun. We talked about it in the past. Former Rocky great Todd Helton, playing first base at this ballpark, used to have his infielders skip the throw on the grass across the infield. You can see those long shadows down there behind Ian Desmond.
Fastball missed. It's 1-1 on Ahmed. Tyler Anderson is a fastball changeup guy. He's done a very good job lately mixing in 3 different fastballs. You'll see the 4-seam, you'll see the sinking 2-seamer, and his cut fastball. He can survive living around the edges of the strike zone, locates pretty well. He can add and subtract with velocity. That was the cutter right there. He's ahead 1-2.
And he's got a little hitch in his giddy up. You can see some deception in that delivery. Looks like he's going to stride toward home plate and fools you, pulls his leg back and then sticks it back out again. Very unusual delivery for the lefty.
Just trying to pick at that corner with a fastball. It's 2-2 on Nick. Rockies have been winning lately, led by their starting pitchers. The Colorado rotation, a 2.02 ERA over the last 9 starts. And that's without their opening day ace, John Gray, who's been in the minor leagues recently. He was struggling so badly. There's that cut fastball missed, and now it's full 3-2. So the Rockies' young rotation starting to come together. Except for Gray, they got to get him fixed. Ahmed hits a fly ball deep left field. Gerardo Parra at the wall, and it's gone. Nick Ahmed makes it 1-0 D-backs. Well, you were saying key to the game, don't be late.
Don't be late. And Nick Ahmed is not late. He is right on time with this elevated fastball inside part of the plate. And if you haven't seen a game at Coors Field, the ball absolutely jumps. Humidor or no humidor, especially on a warm night like tonight. We had warm weather when we came here in June, and equally hot here tonight. The ball should fly once again.
Strike one to Goldie. Goldie 281 and 20 home runs. A jumbo jack off the bat of Nick Ahmed. Free jumbo jack tomorrow. Jack in the box for the purchase of a large drink. I showed you the numbers on Goldie at the top of the show. The last time we were here, he almost destroyed this ballpark. 8 for 13. He homered 4 times in 3 games and drove in 9.
And for me, the most impressive swing of the entire series was when he hit that ball to right center field above the Rockies bullpen and out the tunnel. He hit a ball out there where a left-handed pull hitter might hit it.
And right near that 17, which is Todd Helton's number, up through that walkway. Down a ball and 2 strikes. Popped it up. Trevor Story at shortstop. Two down for AJ. 289 and 11 home runs.
A lot of greetings from the Diamondbacks hitters for Chris Iannetta as they come to the plate, former teammates.
And he was a great teammate.
Boy, he really was.
Back where he started here in Colorado. Got a 2-year deal this winter. AJ belts that to center right at Blackman. Nick Ahmed's 12th of the year gives the D-backs the early lead. The early lead at Coors Field for the left-hander Patrick Corbin, headed to the All-Star game this year for the 2nd time in his career. Patrick has pitched exceptionally well in his last 3 starts, but without a win or even a decision to show for it.
Yeah, over his last 3 starts, he's given up multiple base runners in an inning only twice in 3 starts. He's just been absolutely on top of his game, everything working. Of course, we're here at elevation, at altitude, whatever you call it. Always interesting to see how the slider works. It's been a really good pitch for Patrick throughout most of the season. We'll see how it works here tonight.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Rockies batting lineup.
LeMahieu at second base, Blackman out in center field, Nolan Arenado at third base, Trevor Story, the shortstop, cleaning up, Ian Desmond at first base, Chris Iannetta, the former D-back, catching, another former D-back, Gerardo Parra, out in left field, Noel Cuevas out in right, and Tyler Anderson, the lefty, on the mound.
LeMahieu leads it off. That's a chopper to third for Jake Lamb. Quickly 1 down. E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
David Peralta out there in left field. A.J. Pollock will be in center. Steven Souza Jr. over in right field. Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Jeff Mathis behind the plate for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
Charlie Blackman, an all-star again this year. 276 batting average. He's homered 17 times. As Bob mentioned at the top of the show, a clean first inning could go a long way for Patrick Corbin here tonight. No team in baseball has scored more first inning runs or hit more first inning home runs than the Rockies.
As a matter of fact, just in the National League, the Rockies have the most runs in the first inning, most runs in the second inning, most runs in the fourth inning. It really tails off from the 5th inning on in the ball game. You start bumping up against some of the better relief pitchers at the tail end of the other team's bullpen, but they do a lot of their damage early.
Patrick elevates the fastball, and Blackman strikes out 2 down. Here's Arenado. Mentioned all those home runs, 10 in the first inning this year for Nolan Arenado. He leads Colorado in homers and RBIs. He's 3rd in the National League with that 970 OPS.
10 of his 22 homers on the season have come in the first inning. That's remarkable.
Ambush.
Yeah, no kidding.
And he has clobbered left-hand pitching this year. Fastball away, 1-0. Arenado Sunday named to his 4th consecutive All-Star game. A little bit off the plate, but Rob Drake says strike 1. Mentioned the sun and shadows, but on a day like this ballpark, this time of day, is just gorgeous. Look at that. It is beautiful here. Not so much for him.
Yeah.
Got those, looks like he's got the flip-ems.
Why not? That's why they made him.
Old school.
Yeah.
These quick flip downs. Steven Souza Jr., more modern look. 3-1 on Arenado. That one's fouled away. Patrick tried the slider that time. It's full 3-2. Not loving where he's leaving those last 2 sliders. Kind of out over the plate and up.
Yeah, a lot of times when you come into Coors Field as a pitcher, you have to adjust your sights and adjust your release point to make sure you don't leave that breaking ball over the middle of the plate.
Arenado lays off a fastball away. 2-out walk. Here comes Trevor Story. Story hitting .284, 17 homers, a first-time All-Star this year. Starts him off with a slider, 0-1.
If the D-backs pitchers throw the ball well in this series, we could see Trevor Story go over 100 strikeouts before the All-Star break.
You know,
He's at 95 right now.
He's behind Goldie, who still leads the league. Story has cut down on his strikeouts a little bit. He was out of control last year. There was nowhere to go but down. But he's still got a whole bunch of swing and miss in there, just like that. 0-2. Story's had a bruised right foot lately. Despite that, red hot at the plate. He has had 2 hits each in 5 of his last 6 games. Rockies were off yesterday. Story homered Sunday at Seattle. Strike 3. Patrick Corbin puts up a 0 in the first. D-backs have a 1-0 lead.
With a 1-0 lead on the strength of Nick Ahmed's home run off of Tyler Anderson. I was chatting with Nick earlier today. He had just come out of the video room. I said, look, Tyler Anderson's been lights out of late, coming off a couple of scoreless outings after 8 innings in each one. I said, what are you seeing that's different from him, you know, from earlier in the year? He said, well, he's making fewer mistakes, not leaving the ball over the middle of the plate. He is mixing it up really well as well. But guys, he owns him right now 5 for 8 with 2 homers. And he said, we know he is going to make a mistake here and there. We have to be ready. And Nick was.
He sure was, Jody. Number 12 on the year for Nick. Now Steven Souza Jr. leads off the second against Anderson. Look at this lineup they have in tonight, Bob. Last time we were here, 3-game sweep, no Pollock, no Souza. And now they're both back in there tonight. Steven 2 for 18 in 4 games since he came off the DL. Hopefully that home run the other night, 450 feet Saturday against the Padres, was a good sign.
I think Souza and Pollock both are just a little bit off. You know, it almost needs to be some kind of a mediocre fastball or a mistake breaking ball that stays in the strike zone too long for them to really catch up and blast it like Souza did at Chase Field with that home run to center field. Got fooled by a changeup that time.
First strikeout for Tyler Anderson brings up Ketel Marte.
Just a little behind the good fastballs, a little out in front of the off-speed pitches, just that fine tuning that is the last thing to come for a guy returning from the disabled list.
Cattell 247, 8 home runs. A very good series against San Diego. He was a big bat against the Padres. He doubled twice, homered twice, walked 4 times.
Tyler Anderson's version of a quick pitch. He kind of abbreviates that funky windup that he has. Seeing more and more pitchers do that. Go to the quick pitch, the abbreviated windup. There's the full windup that time. Anything to try to throw off that hitter's timing.
He takes a very short stride. He's not one of these big, long, tall, big stride guys. He's kind of a short, quick stride toward home plate. Sort of the opposite of those old pictures of Tom Seaver when he took that massive long step and the knee would be on the dirt of the mound. It's more of a quick jab step with Anderson. 3-1 on Marte. Fastball's low. There's a 1-out walk.
You mentioned Marte with the big homestand or big series in the homestand. The walks were almost as impressive as the extra base hits. We know Cattell Marte's got thump in the bat from both sides. We know he's a good contact hitter when he stays in the strike zone, and lately he's just refusing to chase.
It's really paying off. Jake Lamb now, 234 and 6 homers for Jake. Batting 7th tonight against the left-hander Anderson. Bounces one to second. LeMahieu gets the force on Marte, and that's it. Brings up Jeff Mathis. How about the job Jeff Mathis did? 182 on the year. And that marathon Sunday against San Diego, he walked in that game, had a pair of doubles, caught 15 innings, and wound up as the losing pitcher. That's a day he will not soon forget. Talking with Torrey about that before the game today. He had all kinds of guys who wanted to pitch. There was a line in the dugout. Hey, I got a cutter. I got a curveball. I can do it. I was a pitcher in high school. I can get outs. Whole bunch of volunteers, but they decided Mathis was the best choice. Ahmed wanted to get in there. Nick was a great pitcher in high school. David Peralta still wants to pitch. That's how he started out in the Cardinals organization. We've seen Descalso, but he had already been used as a pinch hitter in the ball game, so Mathis was the choice.
And it sounded like had the game gone on much longer, Alex Avila was going to go behind the plate or go to the mound, and Jeff Mathis was going to go back behind the plate.
Alex was another guy that wanted some mound time. Whole bunch of volunteers. Well, Anderson, as we said, likes to work around the edges, but he's fallen behind 3-0 with the pitcher Corbett on deck. Well, you get a great idea from that shot right there of how bright it is at first base right now with that sun setting behind the left field foul pole. Jeff has always hit well in this ballpark. Taking all the way on 3-0. Full count, 3-2. Over the mound, and that one rolls into center field. Lamb will head for third. They're on the corners with 2 down.
Well placed bouncer that time, right back up the middle of the field, gets over Anderson. And you see Trevor Story playing a little bit toward the hole. DJ LeMahieu had the best shot at it. He was shaded up the middle of the field, but no Rocky can get to it. At least you clear the pitcher spot here. Runners at first and third with 2 outs for Patrick Corbin.
Patrick's been a hitter this year. See if he can come up with a 2-out RBI knock. He's got 7 base hits on the year. He's almost a .230 hitter. Lamb at third, Mathis at first, 2 outs. Got that cutter down. Anderson does a good job with those 3 fastballs, moving it around. He'll throw that fastball to all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. Reaches out and pokes it in the hole. Arenado in front of Story. And Anderson strands 2. Bottom 2 from Denver. D-backs lead the Rockies 1-0. In the early lead here in Denver. The FIFA World Cup semis continue tomorrow on Fox. Luka Modric leads Croatia against Harry Kane in England. Come on, you Spurs. Coverage starts at 10 a.m. on Fox. Stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app. France is in. Todd Walsh is marching around his house right now, singing the Marseille hymn because his native Frenchmen are in the final.
Yeah, 1-0 victory today over Belgium. Way to go, Todd.
Did you have France winning that game?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
I didn't bring my bracket with me because I thought I'd just adjust it when I get home, but I'm pretty sure I had France in the finals against England or Spain or Mexico. I can't really recall.
One of those. Ian Desmond leads off the home half of the second against Patrick Corbin. Desmond, the power's come around this year. The batting average has not. But the bat starting to finally show some signs of life here in Colorado. Patrick, 2 strikeouts in the first. There's ball 1. On the ground is short. Nice belt high hop for Ahmed. Here's Chris Iannetta.
Not sure if it's by design or if it just is what it is, but Patrick Corbin throwing a lot of fastballs, 88, 89. He's hit 91 one time so far in the ball game. Now, as Zach Greinke has taught us in his time here in Arizona, velocity is not the be-all, end-all for a successful pitcher, but it's just kind of odd to see Patrick's velocity down that much. We've seen him spike up into the mid-90s from time to time this season, but cruising along in the high 80s so far today.
D-backs have the overshift on against Iannetta. There's that slow curveball. Chris at 235. He's got 7 homers back in Colorado. Originally a Rockies 4th round pick back in 04 out of North Carolina Chapel Hill. StatCast powered by AWS. Iannetta, a pull hitter. Not a bad fastball right there at 91, but he didn't get the call from Rob Drake. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, we showed you our StatCast pie chart superimposed over the Diamondbacks pull shift defense, and if you think about it, even within the pie, like the 31% up the middle, some are hit to the far right side of that piece of pie, some are hit to the far left side, and I think that is a determining factor on where Marte will play. Within that 31%, maybe more of them are hit closer to the shortstop position, so rather than just stay in the middle of the piece of pie, move over a little bit closer to the shortstop position. Same thing for Nick Ahmed. Depending on where the balls are hit within that slice of pie, that's where the player will position himself.
Yes, it's called the lemon meringue defense.
Yes.
And Iannetta, sure enough, goes the other way. A base hit to right. The best laid plans. A 1-out single. Here's Parra. Parra in left field starts against the left-hander. 300 this year with 5 home runs. That batting average for Parra is about 190 versus lefties, so there's quite a drop.
Keeping those runners on their base, keeping that double play in order. Diamondbacks catchers have all done an outstanding job this season blocking balls in the dirt, and they've been tested on a nightly basis.
Yeah, you know, with Corbin throwing all these sliders, Godley, all those curveballs, you're going to get dirty back there. Excuse me, check swing foul. It's 1-1. Another slider from Corbin.
It's almost like when Nick Ahmed makes the rare error at shortstop. It kind of catches you by surprise. If a ball gets through one of the Diamondbacks catchers to the backstop, I'm shocked.
Yeah, we get spoiled. Yes, he went, says Tim Timmons at third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him. 3 strikeouts for Corbin, 2 down in the second.
But Gerardo Parr all the way around on that pitch, breaking down low and away from him, just trying to protect the plate, swings right through it.
Rookie Noel Cuevas, the right fielder tonight, 262. He's homered twice. There's that slow curveball for a strike. Cuevas in there against the lefty. Corbin, both of his home runs this year have come against left-hand pitchers. And Carlos Gonzalez has struck out in roughly half his career at bats against Corbin, so Cargo sits and it's Cuevas in right. Fastball's low, 1-1.
Cuevas has been the most used pinch hitter for Bud Black this season. 23 at bats as a pinch hitter. He's had 7 hits.
There's Bud Black. Mike Redmond, the bench coach. Cuevas played all of last year at AAA Albuquerque. Hit .312 there with 15 homers. 26-year-old rookie. Patrick's fallen behind. You've got the pitcher Anderson on deck. It's 3-1 on Cuevas. Strike at the knees, full count, 3-2. Corbin so far has struck out 3, walked 1. Goldie will play behind the runner Iannetta at first. 2 outs, 3-2. Here it is. There goes Iannetta. That's yanked foul down the third base line. Got the slider. There goes the runner. Slider missed away, according to Rob Drake. So a 2-out walk brings up the pitcher Anderson. Trying to get one through the back door there, but just missed, and now 2 on and 2 out.
Not the worst thing that can happen, a potentially dangerous hitter in Cuevas, and now you got Tyler Anderson at the plate, 29 at bats. He struck out 19 of them this season. As we always say in Coors Field, anybody with a bat in their hands is dangerous. You have to approach them as if they're a cleanup hitter.
Bounced a breaking ball up there, 1-0. Rockies have not seen Patrick Corbin since opening day. He pitched the opener at Chase Field, beat Colorado. Pitched well, 2 runs, 5 2/3, had 8 strikeouts in that start. So it's been a while since they've had a look. There's the fastball for a strike. 1-1.
If memory serves me, Patrick was throwing a little bit harder in that opening day start. Wasn't throwing as many of the slow breaking balls that we've seen him use more recently. So probably a little different look for the Rockies hitters.
Fastball away is a strike, and it's 1-2. And we haven't seen any yet, but with Jeff Mathis back there, Patrick has started working in a few more changeups as well recently. Mayhew, the leadoff man, would be next. D-backs half game up on the Dodgers atop the NL West. Giants are 3 games behind. The Rockies 3.5 back. Dodgers at San Diego tonight. Rich Hill and Eric Lauer. The Giants hosting the Cubs. That's Johnny Cueto and Jose Quintana. Down the line and foul. As you said, anybody with a bat in his hand is dangerous. That one just missed.
Tyler Anderson making like a hitter up there. He backed way off the plate, and then as Patrick went up into the set position, he creeps up closer to the inside corner and then ambushes that next delivery. Just foul down the right field line. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher do that before.
It's kind of cool.
I've seen hitters do it from time to time if they're guessing in or guessing away.
In the meantime, Mathis is doing the same thing, setting up inside and then drifting outside. He's at it again here,
yeah,
creeping up toward the plate. Fastball away, missed, 2-2. Now, what is the benefit of that?
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, if you've got a real good idea he's coming in on this pitch or he's going to go away on this pitch, I'm not quite sure why he does it.
Now he's backing up.
He's creeping up closer again.
Swing and a miss. He got him on a slider. 4 strikeouts for Corbett. He strands 2. It stays 1-0 D-backs. In Colorado, D-backs have a 1-0 lead over the Rockies. Fans celebrate summer at Chase Field. Free tickets for kids. That's right, D-backs are giving all kids 15 and younger free tickets to any home game next weekend, July 20th through the 22nd against these Colorado Rockies. Get up to 2 free kids tickets with the purchase of an adult ticket for that D-backs Rockies series. Call 602-514-8400 or log on to dbacks.com/kids.
Sweet deal.
That's, I mean, free tickets. That's the ultimate deal, right?
Can't beat that.
Get the kids out to the ballpark coming up right after we come back from the All-Star break. That's the first series after the break. Fans can receive up to 2 free kids tickets, the purchase of a full price adult ticket for select sections in the ballpark. Baseline reserve, bleachers, bullpen reserve, club reserve, infield, outfield. Here's Peralta, who grounded out to lead off the ball game. Quick pitch from Anderson to strike 0-1. Mentioned the Diamondbacks last time we were here, swept a 3-game series. David played in 2 of those games last month and had 7 hits. He doubled twice and homered. He was 3 for 5, then 4 for 5. But down here 0-2.
Well, we've heard that cliche in this game for years, trying not to do too much, and that really holds true offensively in this ballpark. Just maintain your approach, make sure you're swinging at good pitches, take your walks if you don't get anything to hit. But a lot of guys come into this ballpark and immediately start to try to lift the ball in the air to their pull field.
Well, Anderson caught the edge with that fastball, and Peralta strikes out looking. Just a little bit off the plate, but Rob Drake rings him up. Here's Ahmed.
12th home run of the year for Nick back in that first inning. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch. First pitch fastball for a called strike. Then he misses inside with a fastball. A cutter was fouled away. Misses with 2 fastballs trying to nibble away at that bottom part of the strike zone. And then an 89-mile-an-hour cutter right in the middle of the strike zone, and Nick hit it way out of here to left field.
His 12th of the year.
Our nationwide vision eye on the game.
First pitch swinging, Arenado. He might run it over to first base.
You know, part of the reason he does that is because of the sun we talked about earlier. I saw Ian Desmond on a play that Arenado made earlier in the ball game when he did a similar thing. He just keeps running to his left to get out of the sun for his first baseman. You see him point at him right away. Thank you very much.
And Arenado generally likes to throw on the run anyway. He finds it a little bit more accurate that way.
I'm sure his first baseman appreciates that.
Here's Goldie. Yeah, still bright over there at first as that shadow creeps across the infield. Goldie popped up to shortstop his first time. Goldie coming off 3 consecutive multi-hit games against the Padres. He had 3 hits in that marathon on Sunday. I was on the concourse, ran into a couple who drove here from the Santan Valley. They started home, went to LA for a wedding, and then came out here. And they were driving Sunday, and their drive to LA was shorter than the game. They got to listen to the Governor and Candy for the entire drive and then some.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kill your whole trip.
They were walking around wearing their D-backs jerseys here from the Santan Valley. They love coming out here. They said they come out to Coors Field 1 series a year because it's just such a great trip. And it should be terrific weather here this week. Although a little hot, we're getting blamed for that.
Yeah, we always bring it with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I see you brought the heat with you. It's 90 here.
Oh, is it 90?
Oh, gee.
Poor thing. It is gorgeous here tonight, though.
Yeah, I usually bring 1 extra suitcase full of hot air just to make the Rockies fans happy.
That's a base hit into left for Goldie. A.J. Pollock. A.J. blistered one to dead center, but hit it right at Blackman his first time up. Goldie at first, 2 outs.
A little lost tonight, partner. I don't have my 4-color pen.
What happened? This is breaking news.
Well, as you know, I usually carry a pretty large bag every day, but since we walk back and forth from the hotel to the ballpark, I thought I'd bring a smaller carry bag this time. And when I transferred from the big bag to the small bag, I hesitated to put my 4-color pen in.
The bag transfer. It's a classic trap.
That is a trap.
How are you getting by then?
Well, I'm just using a pencil and trying to make the strikeouts and walks very obvious when I look down at my card.
No telling what might come from this.
So far, I have Patrick Corbin with 11 strikeouts through the first 2 innings.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
You are personally keeping that multicolored pen company in business. They lose you and they're in big trouble.
Those are the best. I probably told the story in the past, but when I was working in Chicago using the 4-color pen, Eddie Vedder came up to sing the 7th inning one day and was fascinated by the 4-color pen.
The 4-color pen.
So I told him to take it.
You gave Eddie Vedder a pen.
I gave him my 4-color pen. And he actually used it to write a song.
Come on.
During the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Did he show it to you?
Yeah, it was just some little ditty that he wrote about a foul ball down the right field line and the ball boy and the fan fighting over the ball. And it was, you know.
So if that
wasn't a #1 hit, but he used the 4-color pen to write that song.
If he had won a Grammy, maybe he would thank you in his speech. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. He's a big baseball fan.
Yeah, sure is. Big Cub fan.
Big 4-color pen fan now.
Who isn't? 1-2 on Pollock. Yeah, because I like to complicate things, I have 7 pens out here right
now. I used to do that. I used to carry multiple pens, but
got a color for hits, a color for strikeouts, a color for walks, a color for RBIs. Yep. A lot of the broadcast guys I've seen more and more use that electronic score thing. It's just an app. You get on your computer, your iPad, whatever.
Well, there you go.
It doesn't seem the same.
No. And what happens if your computer crashes? You lose all your box scores? Oh, man.
Popped up into that sun for LeMahieu. Bottom third at Coors Field. D-backs lead the Rockies 1-0.
Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Patrick Corbin with a 1-0 lead as we start the bottom of the third. Nick Ahmed's 12th home run of the year, all the scoring so far. DJ LeMahieu, the leadoff man for Colorado, leads off the third. LeMahieu grounded out his first time up.
Typical Patrick Corbin mix through his first 42 pitches of this ball game. He's thrown 21 fastballs, 17 sliders, 4 of those slower curveballs, and as you mentioned, we've yet to see the straight changeup.
Now working through the order for the second time. He's got to be careful with LeMahieu, who has hit Corbin better than any other Rocky, .375 for his career. Off the glove of Lamb, a bullet to third. It rolls into left, and LeMahieu's aboard. Boy, we need to get the exit velocity on that one. 106 miles an hour coming at you at the hot corner. Here's Blackman. Blackman struck out his first time up against Corbin. Second hit for Colorado. Blackman can handle himself against lefties. He's about 290 versus left-handers with 5 homers. I would think, and I'm probably wrong, but the way Mathis moves away, especially with a lefty up there, Corbin looking for that slider, as the hitter, can you feel that somehow?
Sometimes you can, especially big, cumbersome catchers.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally they make enough noise that you can tell where they're set up behind the home plate as they grunt to get over into position. But most guys are pretty light on their feet back there, and they usually wait till deep enough in the delivery that the hitter better not be looking back at that point.
Jeff really moves around a lot back there.
He's a slider for Patrick Corbin. He should slide out to the outside corner. Just a little low.
Blackman not offering it these, and it's 3-1. Arenado on deck. He walked his first time up. By Goldie and down the line. LeMahieu headed for third. He's going to come on in. Here's the relay. It's offline, and we're tied at 1. RBI double for Charlie Blackman.
LeMahieu hit one by a drawn in Jake Lamb at third, and now Blackman goes the other direction, hits one by Goldie, who had been holding on the runner down there at first. Souza got to the ball in good shape, got it quickly into Ketel Marte. Unfortunately, his throw to home was well into foul territory, allowing LeMahieu to score.
Now here's Arenado. Blackman at second, a run in, still no outs. Patrick at 50 pitches, 30 strikes. Fastball fouled away, 0-1. Arenado is hit safely in 6 of 7 games this month, including a pair of homers. His average for the year at 305, that's up over 400 versus left-hand pitchers. Fastball's low, 1-1.
Talked about Patrick's velocity being down a little bit from what we're used to seeing in that start against the Rockies earlier this season. His average fastball in that game sat at 92 miles an hour. He threw some in the mid-90s, 95, 96.
Yeah, we saw the fastball velocity drop from Patrick right about the end of April, and it's kind of stayed there. But it hasn't really been an issue at all for him. All-star again this year. There's Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, on the right. Foul ball at third for Lamb. Rocky's starting to show some patience against Corbin with that low slider. They're laying off. He's walked 2 so far. Story on deck, 3-2 on Nolan Arenado.
You know, normally I'm a big fan of the strategic walk. You got a base open right now. You've got the dangerous Nolan Arenado at the plate. You got Trevor Story, who's equally as dangerous in the on-deck circle, but it would set up a potential double play, take the bat out of Arenado's hands. Not sure if that's what Patrick is trying to do right here, but as you said, Arenado being much more patient than we're used to seeing him against that low slider.
Came in with a fastball that time. And it's always a danger to walk guys in this ballpark. I mean, anybody can hit one out here. Suddenly a three-run homer here, 3-run homer there, and you're in for a long night. Laid off the slider. A single, a double, and a base on balls open the Colorado third against Corbin. And here comes Trevor Story. Story struck out to end the first. Mike Butcher will burn a mound visit here. The entire infield comes in as well. Bump in the road here for Corbin, who has cruised his last 3 starts. 7 scoreless innings at Pittsburgh. He struck out 12 and 1 run on 4 hits against the Giants in 6 innings. His last outing last Wednesday against St. Louis kept the Cardinals to 1 run in 6. He has been exceptional lately, but he's in trouble here. A run is in, 2 on, nobody out. Blackman at second, Arenado at first. Kept that slider down at the knees. It's 0-1. Trevor Story, a dangerous hitter, 62 RBIs already before the All-Star break, the most by a shortstop in Rockies history. Another slider fouled away, and it's 0-2. Story this year joined Troy Tulowitzki, the only All-Star shortstops in Rockies history. He's still only 25 years old. Seems like he's been around for about 10 years.
And he's closed some holes in his swing already. I mean, he came up as a rookie and was hitting mistakes out of the ballpark with regularity. So teams stopped making mistakes. Started to execute pitches to the holes in his swing, and he's done his best to try to close some of those holes. A little quicker inside on fastballs now, still very dangerous on breaking balls in the strike zone.
Yeah, this year for Story, that strikeout rate has dropped from 34% last year down to 25%, so he's done some good work. Mathis hangs on to the foul tip. That's a big out, number one. 5 strikeouts for Corbin.
Fastball looked quicker than it really was because of these sliders. A called strike on a slider, a foul ball on a slider, misses down low with that one at 82, and then pumps a 90-mile-an-hour fastball by him at the top of the strike zone. Only that effective because of the 3 off-speed pitches that preceded it.
Well, here's Desmond, who hits a vast majority of his balls on the ground. If you're going to get a double play ball, it's right here.
Nine times this year he's grounded into a double play. Trevor Story leads the way with the Rockies. 11 double plays grounded into this year.
Something happened to Ian Desmond when he signed here. He started hitting it on the ground all the time. In fact, far more than ever before in his career. It was never an issue for him before, but he's just not been able to take advantage of this ballpark because he just doesn't hit the ball up in the air enough. Good fastball there, 1-1. So he has become kind of the anti-launch angle cover photo, Ian Desmond.
Sure, that's not exactly what the Rockies had in mind when they threw all that money at him. They probably saw a guy that had modest home run totals throughout his career, and you project him in this ballpark. It just hasn't quite worked out.
There's a tapper on the ground. Lamb charges and makes a really nice play to get the out at first. The runners move up.
Nice throw from an odd angle that time for Jake Lamb. Little topper hit to the left side, scoop and throw all in one motion, and gets a lot on that throw. Nice play.
So second and third, 2 down for Iannetta, who singled to right field his first time up. Each team now with 3 hits. Iannetta wanted to check his swing on that slider, but couldn't. It's 0-1.
We saw Iannetta go to the opposite field with his base hit in the second inning with 1 out, and with runners in scoring position, he's probably thinking the same thing. I get a pitch out over the plate and try to drive it into right field. What run producers do. They look at the situation, try to figure out what the opposing pitcher is going to try to do, and then come up with a game plan against that. And usually with runners in scoring position against a guy with some pop, you try to stay away from his power, and that means working him away.
Missed with a fastball away, and it's 2-1. Corbin now over 25 pitches in this inning. Center field, A.J. Pollock. Great job by Corbin there to strand 2, but the Rockies get the equalizer.
D-backs and Rockies tied at 1 here at Coors Field as we head to the top half of the 4th inning. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Very simply, the National League beat the American League 3-1 in the All-Star game back in 1984 at Candlestick Park. A couple of notable things happened in that particular All-Star game. Doc Gooden became the youngest player ever to participate in an All-Star game at the age of 19. He combined with Fernando Valenzuela to strike out 6 consecutive American League All-Stars. Gary Carter, Dale Murphy, both homered for the National League. Carter was the MVP of the game, and I struck out against Rich Dotson with a runner at third, and Tony Gwynn on deck, swinging at ball 4.
I wondered if you were going to get to your appearance there.
Ben,
Talk about burying the lead.
it wasn't the highlight.
Steven Souza Jr. starts off the 4th against Tyler Anderson. Yeah, I've seen that game because you find it on the WWW all the time. He got a fastball up and in under the chin, kind of tied you up a little bit.
Runner at third and Tony Gwynn on deck. Don't chase bad pitches.
Well, it's an all-star game.
Yeah,
You're trying to impress.
I lasted longer than my teammate Chili Davis. He had a 1-pitch at bat. At least I ran the count full.
It was a workmanlike effort. Souza struck out his first time up tonight. Anderson, 50 pitches, 33 strikes. He has walked 1, struck out 2.
We all had a laugh at the time. The late great Gary Carter, the kid, hit that home run to center field at Candlestick Park and tripped over first base as he was rounding the bags. Now, may not sound like something funny, but boy, did we give it to him.
Here's a leadoff walk for Souza.
And no surprise that Dale Murphy hit a home run for the National League team. He used to kill us at Candlestick Park. Oh my. He had that natural opposite field swing, a little bit like Goldie. His best pop was to right center and right field, and there was a wind tunnel at Candlestick that would really carry the ball a long way that direction off the bat of a right-hander. And Dale Murphy took advantage of it almost every time he played us.
Ketel Marte walked in his first plate appearance tonight. Should be a pretty good matchup for Ketel Marte. Look at these platoon splits. He's 100 points better from the right side than from the left. He's homered 4 times from either side of the plate. He's got 8 on the year. And Anderson is a guy that, as we said, throws a lot of fastballs. See if he can turn on one right here. That was the cutter low. Iannetta wants a word. He walked Souza. Now he's behind 2-0 on Ketel Marte. Bud Black. His Rockies really slumped last month. Colorado was 11-16 in June, but they're off to a good start here in July, 5-2. And they're at home heading into the All-Star break. 3 against the D-backs and 3 against Seattle to close out the first half. That fastball's the strike. Rockies have won 8 of their last 10 coming into tonight. There's that setting sun behind the left field foul pole. Missed in with a fastball, 3-1. Lamb on deck.
Part of the reason the Rockies have been playing marginally better is the bullpen has been marginally better.
Yeah, it has. They've had improvement.
Yeah, it was really bad there for quite a long stretch of the first half of the season. Every time that door opened up, bad things happened for the Rockies.
After they invested more than $100 million in the bullpen in the offseason, but it has been better lately. Part of that is health as well. They've gotten Jake McGee back, Adam Ottavino back. Fastball just missed upstairs. And a couple of bases on balls open up the D-backs fourth. Here comes Jake Lamb. Boy, Anderson's calling card lately has been pinpoint command. And he's just missing by a little bit here tonight. Career high 8 innings, 2 starts ago at Dodger Stadium. Gave up just 4 hits, had 8 strikeouts. And even better in his start after that here against the Giants. Another 8 scoreless innings. Gave up only 2 hits and punched out 9. He has been almost unhittable as of late. But Ahmed got him 2 batters in for a solo homer. Here comes the pitching coach, Steve Foster. And now Anderson has walked 3 in the ball game.
Yeah, we know when Jeff Mathis or John Ryan Murphy or Alex Avila go to the mound to talk to one of the D-backs pitchers, usually the entire infield joins, and Mike Butcher as well out of the dugout. If you're going to have a mound meeting, get everybody involved. Make sure the infielders know what signs you're using. Make sure the infielders know how you're going to attack this next hitter. If you're going to change the signs, you want everybody out there for it. But that time, just the pitching coach and Chris Iannetta made the trip to the mound to talk to Tyler Anderson.
Fastball right there at the knees. A ball and a strike on Lamb. Jake hitless in his last 2 games. He opened up this month with a 5-game hit streak. There's that cutter. Darting away from the left-hand batter, from the left-hand pitcher. Almost works like a slider in that case.
Yeah, especially when he keeps it down like that, around the bottom of the knees, working toward that outside corner. Reacts just like a slider would to a left-handed hitter.
Another cutter, and Lamb strikes out, 1 down.
Well, the thing about a cutter that separates it from a slider is the spin on the baseball. It looks almost exactly like a regular fastball, and then has that little bit of movement cutting away from a left-handed hitter. A legitimate slider has a completely different rotation, and occasionally a hitter can pick up that rotation and stay on the slider. You get fooled by the cutter.
Jeff Mathis, 2 on, 1 out. Fastball is low. Mathis singled up the middle his first time tonight. Jeff doubled twice in that game Sunday against the Padres. So his bat has had some signs of life lately. Trying to take advantage of these 2 walks to lead off the inning. Entire field now is out of the sunlight. The shadows are no longer an issue for any of the defenders. He's mixing in more changeups than he usually does. Not getting any swings and misses, not throwing them for strikes. Now that cutter, opposed to going away from Lamb, is bearing down at Jeff Mathis. It's almost chasing him up there.
Well, you may have noticed Tyler Anderson mouth fastball up right there. You see pitchers do that a lot more than you realize. When the batter's looking down for a sign or digging in the dirt in the batter's box, sometimes they'll just look in at the catcher and tell him what they want to throw.
Swing and a miss on the fastball. Now 4 strikeouts for Anderson.
Kurt Schilling and Damian Miller had that kind of a relationship between a pitcher and a catcher where, you know, if the hitter would turn his head away momentarily, Kurt would just mouth to Damian what he wanted to throw. Keep it moving.
Well, the D-backs got an absolute gift here when Anderson walked Souza and Marte to open up this inning. But they have not been able to take advantage. Now it's Corbin up there with 2 outs. There's a strike on 1. A lot of cut fastballs. Already 3 walks for Anderson, the most he's had in a game since June 1st, 7 starts ago. And it's only the 4th inning. He's missed, cutter away, fastball up. 70 pitches, 42 for strikes. Two and two. Peralta hoping he'll get a chance. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. He walked the first 2, then struck out the next 3. It stays tied at 1.
did limit the damage in the third. And guys, he's scheduled for his start, of course, in Atlanta on Sunday before heading to the All-Star game in DC. So the question for Troy Lovullo was, will his start remain intact? And the answer was yes. Just the word would be, though, to Dodger manager Dave Roberts and, you know, like Mike Hazen talking to the league, that one inning would what he would be available for. That's what the club would be comfortable with. So Patrick Corbin, you know, looking forward to that experience, but with that start on Sunday, it looks like if he does pitch in that game, it would just be the one inning.
Yeah, it used to be if you pitched in that Sunday before the Tuesday All-Star game, you were automatically disqualified from appearing in the game. Now it's optional. And the D-backs feel, well, Tuesday after a Sunday start, he would throw that day anyway, and so the medical staff has signed off on one inning for Patrick Corbin in the All-Star game next week, which is good news. Ronald Parra leads off the fourth. He struck out his first time up tonight.
And for an East Coast guy like Patrick Corbin, his first All-Star game was in New York at Citi Field. Second one would be in D.C.
Yeah, that 2013 All-Star game, he actually wound up as the losing pitcher. But this year, certainly a deserving selection. Third in the National League in strikeouts and eighth in the league in ERA.
And hopefully he'll get a chance to even his All-Star record.
That'd be nice. Patrick could really use a quick, efficient fourth inning here, working against the lower third of the Colorado order. Patrick got 2 strikeouts and stranded a 2-out walk in Arenado in the first inning, and then threw 27 pitches in both the second and the third, so he's already over 70 for the ball game. Bounce to second for Ketel Marte. Corbin's retired 4 in a row. Here's the right fielder, Noel Cuevas. A base on balls in his first plate appearance tonight. No one in the Rockies on deck circle. The pitcher spot is due up next. No signs of anyone warming up in the bullpen. Here comes Tyler Anderson. That's the rule, isn't it? You're supposed to have somebody out there.
Supposed to be in the on-deck circle, and occasionally when the pitcher's not quite ready, you see Anderson still putting his batting gloves on. The leadoff hitter will go ahead and stand in the on-deck circle just to pacify the umpires.
Umpires. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cuevas is a guy they like, 26-year-old rookie, but he's got some tools. He can run, he can throw, he's got some bat speed. Pretty strong skill set for Cuevas. Patrick getting that slider in there. Big part of Corbin's slider is how deep he throws it at the hitter, not just how often. That's something Torrey talks about a lot. He can get that slider deeper into the hitting zone. And when he establishes that he'll do that, then he can throw it short out in front of the plate and get guys to chase. And then go back in deep and get them off balance a little bit. Which is something you don't think about a lot when you're just watching baseball all the time. Depth on the pitch. I don't know, signal for that or call on it? You got to decide beforehand, just be ready?
I think it just depends on the location that Jeff Mathis calls for that slider. If he calls for a slider down and into a right-handed hitter, obviously that's the hard, deep slider toward that back foot. If he calls for a slider on the outside corner or sets up right down the middle of the plate, then he just wants you to throw it for strike. That's the one that may be a little flatter, doesn't have the same bite as it gets into the hitting zone, but a little bit easier to control in the strike zone. I've told about Steve Carlton for years. It seemed like he'd throw his slider and would wait to see what you were going to do and could control it after he let it go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Another ground ball for Corbin.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com. Now, of course, that's a physical impossibility, but if you talk to hitters that face Steve Carlton, they would agree with me. If you take it, it stays in the strike zone. If you swing at it, it breaks down by your back foot.
Fastball at 89, misses upstairs on the Rockies pitcher.
It's just like talking about a pitcher whose fastball rises. That's physically impossible, but talk to some hitters about certain pitchers and they'll tell you, oh yes, it does rise. Sure seems like it when you're standing in that batter's box.
Well, the physicists would tell you it just takes longer for it to drop down.
Right.
To give it that rising effect. And Patrick, when he's throwing all those sliders, changing the depth on it, that's when he can sneak those fastballs in there for strikes. Just like that. Worked it full on the pitcher after getting 2 ground ball outs to start the inning. Mayhew, the leadoff man, on deck. So you're just trying to get out of here with a quick inning and you walk the pitcher with the bases empty and 2 outs. And here's LeMahieu. 4 walks for Corbin.
Obviously a bad thing to put a base runner on with 2 outs via the walk, but then you also roll around to the top of the order where the thumpers are.
Mayhew singled and scored in the 3rd. Patrick, unless something changes dramatically, is not going to pitch deep into this one, already at 88 pitches in the 4th. Rory tells us the bullpen is in pretty good shape. Everybody is available. They'd maybe like to stay away from TJ McFarland for any extended period of time because he pitched so many innings in that game Sunday. But TJ could be used as well. Just not in a 3 or 4 inning scenario like he pitched on Sunday against San Diego. 0-2 on LeMahieu.
Well, knowing that you use TJ as much as Torrey did the other day, you almost have to keep in the back of your mind to save Randall Delgado if it's a close ball game and you start creeping forward. Randall's another guy that can give the D-backs multiple innings out of that bullpen. And with TJ McFarland being on short duty tonight, you have to make sure you've got that long position covered.
Patrick burning a lot of extra pitches here. Now over 90. Popped up. Shallow center. Marte going out there. Pollock coming in, and AJ's got it. We are through 4 at Coors Field, tied at 1. Coach Mike Butcher, 1-1 here in the 5th inning in Colorado. Don't forget, fans, if you can't watch the D-backs on TV, you can stream the games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you by Coors Light. Download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona, and the D-backs with you wherever you go. It's not that Patrick Corbin is not pitching well here tonight. 92 pitches through 4, that's a lot, but Bob, the Rockies are spoiling some pretty good ones. Colorado, of those 92 pitches, have fouled off 20.
Wow, that's Robbie Ray-like. We remember Robbie a couple of years ago. That was an issue for him almost every start, the number of foul balls that he would give up on quality pitches.
That's really forced Patrick to throw a lot of extra pitches, and that pitch count is up over 90 through 4. So we'll see how we proceed from here as David Peralta leads off the 5th against Tyler Anderson.
This ballpark changes so much about the game. We talk a lot about Zach Greinke and others pitching to soft contact. You want to pitch to contact. Keep your pitch count down. 1 or 2 or 3 pitch at bats. Get guys in, get them out. In this ballpark, pitching to contact is generally not what you want to do.
Yeah, you got to be able to put guys away. Contact equals trouble here. David 0 for 2. David Peralta is a guy, when you look at some of the folks that did make the National League All-Star team, and there are no undeserving All-Stars, but his numbers compare very favorably with guys like Charlie Blackmon, who's going to the game, and Matt Carpenter, who's in the final vote, and some other guys. Peralta, just on numbers alone, makes an excellent All-Star case, but hopefully there'll be a change and he can get in there at the last minute. Guys always end up having to tap out of the game for injuries or other reasons, so maybe a spot opens up, but he deserves to be there.
Certainly does.
He's hitting over 340 since the end of May, David Peralta. Bouncer up the middle, and Mayhew gets there. 4 in a row set down by Anderson ever since those 2 walks to start the 4th.
Yeah, whatever Steve Foster said when he made that mound visit, it has worked. He struck out Jake Lamb, Jeff Mathis, and Patrick Corbin with 2 runners on base, and now gets an easy ground ball to start the 5th inning.
There's Steve Foster, the Rockies pitching coach. Nick Ahmed homered. The second batter of the ball game, is 12th of the year. That's the only D-backs run so far, each team with 3 hits. Singles by Mathis and Goldie, the other 2 base hits for the Diamondbacks. Got that fastball in there at 94, and it's 0-2. That's something that Patrick, Bob, has always done well. How critical is it for a left-hander, a pitcher facing a lot of right-hand batters, to be able to get that fastball in?
Personally, I think it's hugely important because it opens up the outside corner then either for backdoor breaking balls, or if you throw a straight changeup away from a right-handed hitter, if you let them know that you can come inside and you will come inside, that opens up that outside part of the plate a little bit more deeper in counts. Some guys just can't do it. Randy Johnson for a long time couldn't throw away to a right-hander.
Yikes.
He could pound him inside with that fastball. He could back foot that slider, but he just didn't feel comfortable working to the outside part of the plate to a right-handed hitter. Now, he figured it out rather quickly, and it became a big part of his arsenal out there. But for a long time, Randy was a one side of the plate guy with his fastball.
Now Anderson tried to move it outside, but missed with a changeup.
I mean, you can imagine a major league hitter going over all the video scouting that we have and the advanced scouting reports from the guys that go watch the games.
We'll put that one in a real good spot. 6 strikeouts for Anderson.
When you look at the video, you read the scouting report, and it says, geez, he only throws his fastball to one side of the plate. And everything you see with your eyes backs that up. So you go out there in the game and you're looking for fastball in one location. Again, some guys, it doesn't make it any easier to hit. It wasn't easy to hit Randy's fastball inside, but at least it eliminated the idea of him throwing something on the outside corner of the plate, at least for a while. He, like I said, he figured it out.
Well, we've seen just about every team the Diamondbacks have faced try and crowd Goldie inside with fastballs. Just like that. 94. And another one in there. Go out there away, and Goldie can't check. Anderson has retired 6 in a row. He's got 7 strikeouts. We're tied at 1. Action. You can catch baseball's biggest stars, an unforgettable show from the nation's capital. It's the MLB All-Star Game, July 17th, only on Fox. Stream it live from the Fox Sports app. All-Star Game 1 week from tonight at Nats Park in D.C. Charlie Blackmon leads off the Rockies' 5th. He had an RBI double in the 3rd. The only Rockies run. Now that's something that the Diamondbacks have tried to get Patrick Corbin to do a lot more. Throw into left-hand batters. Kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about. Patrick's always been able to go into righties, but that arm side fastball, that's something they've tried to emphasize with Corbin. And they set up the slider away. Patrick hasn't come into left-handers with that fastball as consistently as they'd like. But with his slider, if you can come into lefties with hard stuff and then go away with the slider, then you really got something going. He's behind 3-1. Arenado on deck. He's walked twice tonight. Took something off. Full count 3-2.
Yeah, took a little off the slider that time at 77. Just kind of rolled it up there on the outside part of the plate. Blackman looking for something harder, obviously.
We'll see what Mathis wants to dial up here on 3-2.
Slider. Left it inside that time. Fortunately off speed enough that Charlie Blackman got way out in front and hooked it down that right field line foul.
Elevated the fastball. Blackman couldn't check. And Corbin gets his 6th strikeout.
His mind was telling him to stop, but his arms just wouldn't listen.
Second time tonight he got Blackman. Arenado now. Patrick at 99 pitches. 60 strikes. It's not like he's been erratic or wild. They've just fouled off a whole bunch. And the pitch count is way up there. There's ball 1. Really worked through that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here's another rocky foul ball. You mentioned Randall Delgado maybe providing some length tonight. There he is. Bullpen coach Mike Fetters amongst the pine trees. Well, you could not have dialed up a nicer night to watch a baseball game. It is just gorgeous here, and the place is full.
Yeah, big crowd here at Coors Field for a Tuesday night.
A lot on the line in between these two NL West rivals. The whole division is tight. 4 teams separated by only 3.5 games. We've got the D-backs and Rockies. Dodgers at San Diego tonight. Giants host the Cubs. Torrey Lovullo's ball club just a half game ahead of LA for the NL West lead. Lamb at third. It gets under the glove and into left. Arenado's aboard with 1 out. Here's Trevor Story. Story's been up twice. He struck out twice. 0 for 2. They put a base hit up on the board for Arenado. The 4th hit for Colorado. Another foul ball. Patrick Corbin's high pitch count for the year is 102. That was 3 starts ago at Pittsburgh when he worked 7 scoreless innings. He's already over that here tonight. Just trying to get through 5. Boy, this has become a recurring theme here, Bob. Remember Robbie Ray with the big lead on Saturday, couldn't finish 5, and then Zach Greinke Sunday did not get through 5 innings. And Patrick with 1 out in the 5th here, teetering on the brink.
The elevated pitch counts early, especially first inning. We've seen 25, 28, 30 pitch first innings.
Right at Peralta in left, and it's over his head. He may have lost it in the lights. Arenado will pull it at third and Story's at second. David froze. It was coming right at him, but then carried over his head. A line drive out there.
It has a trajectory to be a ball that you could possibly lose in the lights. David would have been retreating had he seen that ball cleanly, but didn't pick it up until late. By then it was too late.
And it's too late for Patrick Corbin. It's a double for Story. And Patrick's night will end after 4 1/3. We'll take a break from Coors Field. D-backs and Rockies tied at 1. That ball, which was more of a line drive than a fly ball, would have been looking right up into them. MLB at Bat, your #1 D-backs app. Customize your experience. Catch every moment this season. Get D-backs home screen icons. Features like the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, the whole thing. Download MLB at Bat today. Randall Delgado on to try and get Ian Desmond. 2 on, 1 out. Randall's 3rd appearance of the year. Velocity's last time out was down by a pretty fair amount. So we'll see how that fastball looks. There's a good one at 93. Arenado's at 3rd. Story at 2nd, 1 out. Desmond 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Fastball for Randall had dropped to 93, 94, about 90 his last time out, but he's still sort of getting back into the groove here.
You really have to view Randall like you would view a pitcher coming right out of spring training, because that's basically what he's done. He had to back up and start all over again. And as we know, pitchers coming out of spring training, some of them have what they call the dead arm syndrome, where they just can't really get much on anything.
Fastball's got some pop to it tonight, 2 and 1.
And it will peak and valley for a while until he gets his arm strength back to where it should be. And at that point, I think you'll see the velocity kind of level out.
Try that changeup. 3 balls and a strike. Iannetta on deck. Arenado down there just having a running conversation with Jake Lamb. Punches that one foul. Another changeup. It's full 3 and 2.
don't get a lot of time during the course of a ball game to talk to a guy that plays the same position as you do, but Nolan Arenado, one of the best in the business at third base. Maybe Jake Lamb picking his brain a little bit down there.
Nolan has a fair amount of energy. I don't know if you've picked up on that.
You think?
Well, left that change up in a bad spot. Desmond couldn't take advantage.
I think Arenado drinks coffee before he goes to bed, just to unwind a little bit. Caffeine has no effect on him.
It's just a running dialogue down there. There's another tapper. Goldie backhands it, can't pick it up. And the Rockies take the lead as Arenado is home. I think he was going to concede the run, just get the out at first, but then it got behind him.
Well, that's a tough tweener right there. You see Ketel Marte, Paul Goldschmidt both go after the ball. Randall Delgado does what he's supposed to do, get to the base just in case you can get an out there, but unfortunately the ball off of Goldie's glove into no man's land. No play to be made.
So it's 2-1 Rockies. Story is at third. Desmond at first, still one out. Here's Iannetta, who has singled and flied out. Desmond 3 at bats, 3 ground balls. That's E3 and an RBI. So give Desmond the run batted in, give Goldie the error, and it's 2-1 Colorado. .94 from Delgado. Velocity's been good. Popped up. 2 outs. Scott Oberg has started warming up in the Colorado bullpen.
Sneaking down toward that pitcher spot in the Rockies lineup. Parra, the 7-hitter, Cuevas, the 8-hitter, and then Tyler Anderson's spot. So just in case the Rockies get down to that pitcher spot, Bud Black wants to make sure he has a reliever ready to go.
Parra 0 for 2. This year, Gerardo Parra, a .375 hitter with runners in scoring position. First and third, 2 outs. There it is, another run saver. Spiked a changeup.
This is just not natural instinct to throw your body in front of a ball coming up there upwards to 100 miles an hour sometimes. Your natural survival instinct is to get the heck out of the way, but so many years of squatting behind that plate, blocking pitches in the dirt, it's second nature to Jeff Mathis at this point.
Well, the more you watch the Diamondbacks every day, the more you get why the front office and the coaching staff place such an emphasis on defense, pitch framing, pitch calling behind the plate.
And it really becomes even more evident. We just got done playing the St. Louis Cardinals, who made more errors than anybody else in Major League Baseball, and they kicked it around in extended innings and put their pitchers in some very precarious situations. Same thing for the Padres. In that 4-game series at Chase Field, a lot of defensive miscues, a lot of extended innings, more pitches for your staff, more scoring opportunities for the other team just because you don't make plays.
Fly ball, right field. Souza backing up on the track, and he's got it at the wall. But the Rockies got to run across. D-backs trail at 2-1. Rockies game 1. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Shelby Miller on the mound tomorrow against Herman Marquez. 5:40 start Arizona time. D-backs live pregame show comes your way at 5 o'clock. And there's been a change for Thursday's game, which is an afternoon game, because Zach Godley pitched an inning in that game Sunday at San Diego. They'll move him back, and Robbie Ray will start Game 3 of this series Thursday on regular rest. So they take advantage of the off day yesterday. A.J. Pollock 0 for 2 leads off the 6th against Tyler Anderson, who has retired 6 in a row. Anderson has walked 3. He's got 7 strikeouts.
And the rotation for the Rockies in this series, going left, right, left, really kind of lays out well for Torey Lovullo and his plan on resting guys. Get your right-handed lineup in there against the lefty tonight. You get your left-handed lineup in there against the righty tomorrow, and then flip it right back around for the final game of the series. Everybody should get their day off somewhere in this series. Or let's just say most.
Always a priority playing in this ballpark, where it really kicks in the series after you're here. D-backs will play 3 in Atlanta starting on Friday. Anderson has really settled in since those 2 walks to open up the 4th. He has struck out 5 of the last 6 he's faced. And he's ahead of Pollock 0-2. Quick pitch there, and A.J. lines out to shortstop as Story goes up there to get it.
A.J. lined out to center field back in the 1st inning. Now he lines out to Trevor Story at shortstop, getting closer. Starting to make solid contact and drive that ball. Just needs to find some holes.
Steven Souza Jr. has struck out and walked. Anderson at 90 pitches. Fouled away 0-1. That 4th inning is when he walked Souza and Marte to lead it off, and then struck out Lamb, Matheson, Corbin. D-backs had 1st and 2nd. No outs, could not get a run across. This is the bat they really need to get going. right, AJ's pretty much coming around. You've got Goldie doing his thing. Peralta, Marte's been red hot. They really need that length or girth in the middle of the lineup, as Torrey likes to put it. Thicken that middle part, and Souza's the key man, batting fifth. Fastball caught the corner, full count, 3-2. Ketel Marte on deck. Quick pitch to fastball away. He missed, and that's his fourth walk. Here's Marte. Anderson has only walked a couple of batters in his last few starts, but now 4 bases on balls tonight. He's not missing by a whole lot. He's walked Marte twice. Anderson's spot in the order is due up second in the bottom half of this inning. And he's approaching 100 pitches. We got that fastball in that time, 0-2. Left-hander Jake McGee warming up in the Rocky bullpen. Oberg had been up earlier. Dodgers and Padres scoreless in San Diego. They're in the third. No score. Giants and Cubs in the third in San Francisco.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
These are the 2 hitters that have given Anderson the most trouble. He's walked Souza twice. He's walked Marte twice. And Ketel here battling down 0-2. A lot of cutters and changeups. That gets behind Ionetta. Souza moves up.
Spikes that cutter way in near the back foot of Ketel Marte. A little more movement than Chris Ionetta was anticipating. That'll move Steven Souza Jr. representing the tying run into scoring position.
With 1 out, 2-2 on Marte. Lamb on deck.
Ketel Marte can grind out some right-handed at bats. I think his swing is more natural from the right side of the plate. His hand-eye coordination is a little bit better. Doesn't get fooled by off-speed pitches as much as he will occasionally from the left side of the plate. Grinding out a long at bat here.
Getting a whole bunch of cutters. Got a fastball in that time. Pitch number 8 in this at bat coming up. Missed upstairs and it's full. How about this at bat by Ketel Marte? He's already walked twice.
Usually on the bench right now, somebody would say it's been a good at bat, make it a great at bat. Finish it off with something loud here.
Called strike 3. A backdoor cutter just did catch the outside part of the strike zone. That's 8 strikeouts for Anderson.
It took a perfect pitch to get him. I mean, you're right. That pitch started off the plate, cut back to the corner, just does nip the outside corner, mid-thighs. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Rob Drake has had a real good strike zone tonight.
I can't believe you did either.
I mean, we haven't seen him expand way off the zone like some umpires. If it's in the box, he calls it a strike. If it's not in the box, it's a ball.
Yeah, it's been terrific.
Pretty simple.
Well, here's Lamb. Anderson trying to get through 6. Jake 0 for 2. LeMahieu will back up in the outfield grass at second. Trying to get Souza home with a tying run. Well, he's always right around the edges. He's really had good command. And when he missed, he hasn't missed by a whole lot. Fly ball to right. Cuevas is there. Bottom 6. D-backs trail it 2-1.
Bottom of the 6th, Rockies lead 2-1. D-backs in their bullpen. Archie Bradley, well, you know, you never know what he's going to do next. And of course, there was a big storm last night in Phoenix as we were leaving. But before the dust and the storm, Archie was sunning by the pool at Chase Field. Yes, spent about an hour out there. It looks like he's getting burnt, actually. He said he swam and just had some extra time after he went in for a haircut, guys, and then before he got on the bus. And then, of course, he went into a monsoon after that. But I love how these guys are using the pool and putting it to good use in their spare time, whether it's rehab or, you know, of course, we always love the celebrations that go on in the pool. But Archie using the pool a little bit for just some fun.
I saw Robbie Ray doing some rehab work on that oblique earlier this year. Here's Cuevas. It's like a spa out there, really.
And we like Diamondback celebrations in the pool.
Yes, very specific. Pitcher spot is up next. Cargo in the on-deck circle. Delgado back out there for the D-backs ahead of Cuevas, 0-2. It's time for a quiet moment of reflection out there. Yeah, we were delayed for a while trying to get out here.
As you know, I came in earlier today
on your private plane.
Took advantage of the full off day yesterday, and I was watching television when the weather alert came across.
You missed all the governor's updates.
Yeah, about the monsoon, and it stretched from Cave Creek to Queen Creek, and was going to hit the airport around 4:15. I thought to myself, that's about the time the bus should get there.
Yes, exactly. So we were a little late getting to the airport, and then on the ground for about a good 90 minutes before we could take off. So we got in a little later than planned last night, but not too bad.
Good bonding time.
Yeah, if you can watch an entire movie before the plane actually leaves the ground, that's not what you want, but it wasn't too bad. Jam shot pop up. Goldie and Marte got a little close there. One away. So here's Cargo to hit for the pitcher Anderson. Carlos Gonzalez, 274, 8 home runs. He has very poor numbers career-wise against Patrick Corbin, so Gonzalez not in the starting lineup. But he's been hot lately overall. He's hit safely in every game this month, 6 in a row. He homered Sunday at Seattle. Swing and a miss. D-backs have the shift on. Good changeup from Delgado.
Watch Carlos Gonzalez in that left-handed batter's box. It's almost like he's baiting pitchers to try to throw him on the outside part of the plate. He's way off the plate, wide open, but watch him close up as that ball's delivered. He can cover that outside corner of the plate, and he can cover it with authority. But it takes that stance in the box, and you tell yourself there's no way he can reach that outside corner.
Which would work out nicely for Delgado with that changeup he's got. Go back down there again. Fastball misses. Randall behind, 3 balls and a strike. You've got LeMahieu on deck.
Every time a batter has tried to go down to first base in disbelief, the pitch has been in the strike zone.
Yeah.
Both teams tonight. Whether it's up or away or down.
Rob Drake back there tonight. That was in the zone. So here it is, full count, 3-2. Got him. A rare Randall Delgado slider gets the strikeout.
It all starts with that changeup low and away. That's Randall's signature pitch, and he put it in a perfect spot to start the sequence. Pushes Cargo off the plate, tries to come back with a cutter in, and then right back to the outside corner. A couple of pitches, the high strike called right there, and then a good slider down and in for strike 3.
Well, that was a great example, Bob, our nationwide vision eye in the game, of Randall throwing it all over the place.
Yeah.
Not just in, not just away, but all 4, up, down, in, out. Really moved it around there. And there's strike 1 on LeMahieu. LeMahieu singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3.
And whether you're old school, just look for the pitch and hit it, or whether you're new school and you're tunneling those deliveries, when you throw one low and away, one up and in, one up and away, one down and in. I don't know how that works with tunneling. I'm not quite sure of the whole philosophy behind that, but even old school, just see ball, hit ball. Well, when he sprays it all around the edges of the strike zone in all 4 quadrants, that makes it tough.
Gonna have to ask Randall about the tattoos all over the arm. I don't remember him having all that ink last year. He's got a lot going on there.
He's had a lot of time off.
Yeah, he sure has. It's been about a calendar year. Got some nice artwork there. That's all relatively new, those tattoos. Gets him to pop it up. Ahmed drifting out there. Boy, Randall Delgado just outstanding. Ahead of the 7th, D-backs trail it by 1. D-backs trail the Rockies 2-1. The Rockies will be back at Chase Field. Another NL West showdown, July 20th through the 22nd. And the first 20,000 fans to the game on Saturday, July 21st. Get the Jake Lamb bobblehead. That's courtesy of Arizona Milk Producers. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com. Saw Jake reacting to the bobble the other day. Wow, cool. I'm wearing a baseball uniform and doing baseball things. Jake McGee, the left-hander, is on from the Rockies bullpen. His 38th appearance of the year. Carlos Gonzalez remains in the game. Cargo out there in right, replacing Noel Cuevas. Jeff Mathis will lead it off for the Diamondbacks. He has singled and struck out. Pitcher spot behind him, and Chris Owings is in the on-deck circle. Set to hit for Delgado. Jake McGee represents one of the big investments that the Rockies made in their bullpen. They wanted to keep him around. He got a 3-year, $27 million deal this winter, the same money they gave Brian Shaw. And there's a 4th-year option at the back end of that. Behind on Mathis 3-0 with Owings on deck. Oberg once again warming up in the Rocky bullpen. Fastball fouled straight back, full count 3-2.
There's something to make a note of right there. If a wild pitch or pass ball gets by a D-backs catcher, that one hit the plexiglass behind home plate and ended up out in the middle of the infield. You've got bricks back there. You've got signage that'll just kill a ball that comes back there, drop straight down. If it hits the bricks, it'll ricochet back toward the field. If it hits the plexiglass, if it hits the netting. You know all those things if you're going to catch.
Ball 4, Mathis aboard for the second time tonight. D-backs have not had a base hit since Goldie's 2-out single in the third. They only have 3 hits tonight. They've drawn 5 bases on balls. None of the previous 4 walks have scored. Here's CO to hit for Delgado. Andrew Chafin starts to get loose in the D-back bullpen as they hit for the pitcher. Fastball's a strike, 0-1. CO doubled twice and walked in his last game here at Coors Field. That was June 10th when the D-backs completed that 3-game sweep on the last visit. Pokes one down the line, and that ball is fair in the corner. Mathis will stop at third. It's a double for Owings. Good start to the D-backs 7th.
Bottom of the order rally starters. The 8-hitter Jeff Mathis takes a base on balls. Now Chris Owings gets out in front of a pitch and keeps it fair down into that left field corner. D-backs have it cooking.
Second and third, no outs. Top of the order, Peralta for 3. Fastball low, 1-0. David, last time we played here, he played 2 games, had 7 hits. Doubled twice and homered. He's about a .370 career hitter in this ballpark. Sends a fly ball, deep right field, way back and gone. David Peralta, a 3-run homer. And the D-backs have a 4-2 lead. Over the bullpen, upper deck, way out of here. And that's number 16 for the freight train.
Carlos Gonzalez has seen a lot of home run balls fly over his head. He doesn't even move anymore.
A jumbo jack. Free jack in the box tomorrow for the purchase of a large drink. So McGee is done. Walk, double, homer. How we looking? 4-2 D-backs. makes it 4-2, 445 feet. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game.
Oh, he threw a slide that stayed on the inside part of the plate and down. If David had to ask for a location for that pitch, that's where he would want it. My, over everything out there in right field.
His 16th of the year, now one shy of a career high, David Peralta. So it's 4-2 D-backs. Still nobody out in the 7th. Scott Oberg, the right-hander, the new pitcher for the Rockies. Here's Nick Ahmed, who homered in the 1st. Nick trying to bunt his way on. That's fouled away. Oberg back off the 10-day DL. At the end of June, he was out with back trouble. He's pitched scoreless baseball in 5 outings since coming off the disabled list. Where the D-backs had only through 6 innings 3 hits, but they start the 7th walk, double, homer. On the ground at shortstop for Story.
That's why you don't walk people at Coors Field.
Yeah.
One mistake and it turns into a crooked number on the scoreboard. You don't mind giving up solo home runs in this ballpark, but walks and base hits ahead of those homers will kill you.
There's Goldie, who singled in the 3rd, 1 for 3. We mentioned the Rockies bullpen. It has been better lately. It was a dumpster fire earlier. It had improved over the last couple of weeks, but still it was so awful earlier that this year they rank just about among the worst in baseball. Still trying to piece it together. Good fastball at 97 from Oberg. You consider where they are. Their bullpen has been a train wreck, and they've got their opening day starter John Gray. In the minors he's been so bad this year. Trying to get him fixed. Yet here they are, only 3.5 games off the division lead.
And the thing about the Rockies bullpen, you're talking about a bunch of guys that have a track record. They've got numbers on the back of their baseball card. They've done it before, but just haven't been able to consistently get it done this year. We talk about it all the time. Nothing is more disheartening for a ball club, especially an offense that puts a bunch of runs on the board and your bullpen comes in and gives them right back on almost a nightly basis.
Well, now it's going to be up to the back end of the D-back bullpen. Delgado in line for the win, but they have to get through 7, 8, 9 now. It'll be Blackman, Arenado, Story 2, 3, and 4, and Archie Bradley is getting ready. Goldie broken bat tapper to second for LeMahieu. A.J. Pollock 0 for 3, but he's hit the ball hard twice. Once a line drive out to center, and another line right out to shortstop. In the air to Blackman, backing up, still backing up at the track, at the wall. And it's gone. He didn't get it. A.J. Pollock make it 5-2 Diamondbacks. A.J.'s first home run since May 8th. Carried out to dead center over the head of Blackman.
A lot of backspin on that ball. It really carried a lot farther than it appeared it was going to. Blackman didn't miss it by much, but he did miss it out there in center field. A.J. Pollock with a long solo homer.
His 12th of the year. That's 5 runs and tacos. D-backs' third home run, their second in this inning. And Souza sends one out to right center. That'll get to the wall. Steven Souza Jr. is in at second with a double. The D-backs bats have come alive in the 7th against this Colorado bullpen.
Just center cut fastball. I mean, little movement, decent velocity, but right in the middle of the strike zone. And Steven Souza does what you're supposed to do with mistake pitches, bangs it into the gap in right center for a 2-out double.
Steve Foster runs out there. Boy, Anderson was terrific here tonight. Through 6 innings, gave up only 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 8. But McGee and now Oberg have imploded in the 7th.
I think if I was a starting pitcher for this team, unless I got up around 200 pitches in a ball game, Bud Black's going to have to fist fight me to take the ball away.
He may have to start thinking about that.
I mean, there wasn't even a lot of loud contact against Tyler Anderson through the first 6 innings of this game, but it's been raining line drives and home runs in this inning.
2 doubles and 2 homers in this inning. Marte has struck out and walked twice tonight, 0 for 1. There's another run standing down there at second with 2 outs. Harris and Musgrave will start to get loose for the Rockies. 0-1. D-backs now with 7 hits. Play on at second. Story sneaks back in there. There's Musgrave, the left-hander. Lamb on deck. Chris Iannetta is a really big dude. He's built like a refrigerator, but he moves around really well back there.
I was thinking the same thing when I saw him earlier this afternoon. You could show a movie on his back. He is a big, wide, square-bodied man.
Yeah, he's built like an offensive lineman. Right to LeMahieu. D-backs get 4. Peralta, the 3-run homer, and then A.J. Pollock goes deep to center, his first home run since May the 8th. It's 5-2 D-backs. Peralta's 16th, Pollock's 12th. It's 5-2 D-backs. Friday, a brand new episode of D-backs Driven In debuts as we tag along with Jody, Gonzo, and Eric Burns. Don't miss this D-backs Driven In, presented by Sanderson Ford, Friday after the D-backs and the Braves. Only here on Fox Sports Arizona. Bottom 7 in Colorado. Here's the Beard, Archie Bradley. to face Blackman, Arenado, and Story, the heads of state of the Colorado order. Blackman had an RBI double in the third. He's also struck out twice, 1 for 3. Thing to remember here about Archie, he worked 1 2/3 innings in that marathon Sunday against San Diego. Threw 25 pitches in that appearance. Fastball misses up. It's 1-1. Popped it up. Shallow left. Peralta coming in. 1 away. Torlavello, as he has done all year, will use Archie against the heart of the other team's lineup and then bring in Yoshi Hirano to face the middle or bottom parts of that order, regardless of 7th or 8th inning. It's more about matchups than what inning it is. Here's Arenado, who has walked twice, singled, and scored a run. .96 right inside the corner there, 0-1. Well, Archie, based on the pictures that Jody showed her, should be nice and relaxed here. Spent some quality time by the pool, got a massage, a haircut.
Well rested and tan.
Yeah. Curveballs in the dirt. Fly ball, deep right field. Headed for the bullpen and gone. Nolan Arenado, that's 23. And it's 5-3 D-backs. Arenado's been hot. That's his 3rd homer this month.
96 up and out over the plate to Nolan Arenado. He barrels it up, and anytime you get the barrel on it in this ballpark with any kind of elevation, it's going to leave.
One out, a run in. Here's Story, who doubled his last time up.
5th home run given up by Archie Bradley in 44 innings of work this year. It's been a while since he's given up a long ball.
Yeah. Boy, this weather, it's not super hot right now. It was very warm today, but it's more than comfortable now. It's a nice night, but the ball here midsummer, it jumps. Peralta's was launched. It's very comfortable right now, 78 degrees. It was about mid-90s most of the afternoon today. One and two. Desmond on deck. See if he can get Story to chase a curveball here. Fastball up.
I mentioned it before. A curveball's a good pitch if you keep it down on Trevor Story below the bottom of the zone. But if you throw it for a strike, he is a very good off-speed strike hitter. Going up with a fastball.
Yeah, he'll still chase breaking balls down and away. That's always been his kryptonite. That's where a lot of his strikeouts, a lot of his swing and miss comes from. Story's been on an all-star surge lately. He's headed to his first all-star game. Since June 2nd, he's batting better than .360. 2-2. Nothing but straight fastballs from Archie. Dodgers have fallen behind in San Diego. We're getting some help from the Padres, who lead 4-0 in the 5th inning at Petco Park. Giants Cubs still scoreless in San Fran. They're in the 5th.
Austin Hedges and Will Myers with homers for the Padres tonight against the Dodgers.
Nice. Did he go? No, he didn't. Chad Whitson down there. Full count, 3-2. Three infielders on the left-hand side against Story. Full count, here it is. Just straight heat from Archie. Tenth pitch of the at-bat right here.
You remember the first game of the San Diego series when Eric Lauer picked off Shelby Miller at first base?
Yeah, his 8th pickoff of the year, I believe.
Make it 9. He got Max Muncy tonight.
That's belted down the line, but foul. Yeah, Lauer's on the mound tonight against Rich Hill. He's turned that into an art form. Rookie left-hander. It's Cueto and Quintana in San Francisco. No score, bottom 5. Really fastball right down Main Street that time. Good example of Story. Last year, the strikeout rate about 35%. This year, it's down to 25. He's not striking out nearly as often as he always has. Punches it away from the shift. And another fastball rolled into right center. 12 pitch at bat. And here's the tying run, Ian Desmond. Desmond has done nothing but hit the ball on the ground harmlessly. 0 for 3, does have an RBI on the Goldie error back in the 5th.
That was just a little cue shot off the end of the bat that kind of caught Goldie by surprise. A little extra English on that ground ball. Ended up scoring a run, but yeah, you're right. Ground ball to short, ground ball to third, and that squibber to first.
Yeah, more than 60% of everything Ian Desmond hits is on the ground. That's the most in the majors. And it's almost a travesty playing in this ballpark all the time. To play here all the time and not get the ball up in the air. He's homered only 4 times here all year. He's hit 17 on the season. Ottavino starts to get loose in the Rocky bullpen as well. Musgrave still warming up. Musgrave, the lefty. Ottavino, who they are outraged here in Colorado, did not make the All-Star team, is the right-hander. He really felt strongly he should have been included. D-backs fans feel the same way about Archie Bradley.
Pretty tough to argue with Ottavino's numbers this season. Those are ridiculous.
He's been really
video
good.
game numbers out of that bullpen.
Yeah, that's a pretty big snub around here. They're a little steamed. Fastball right by him at 96. It's 1-2. Ionetta, the on-deck hitter. There's your ground ball, but it's away from the shift. Story digging for third. He'll get there. And the Rockies have the tying runs aboard with 1 out. Well, that's twice now they've shaded the infield over to the third base side, and right-hand batters have rolled one over there. Just shoots it the other way. Iannetta the batter. Conference time at the mound. Here comes Mike Butcher.
Not sure exactly what you can say to Archie in this situation. He doesn't throw many curveballs anymore. He's basically a one-pitch guy right now, and this is a dangerous team to try to get by, even throwing in the upper 90s.
I thought for sure at one point we would see a curveball to Story with the way he swings and misses, but it's been pretty much straight heat. One out. Story is at third. Desmond is the tying run at first, and Chris Iannetta, the hitter, he's 1 for 3. He's singled in the second. Now Chris is going to know, I'm guessing, Bob, that he's pretty much going to see nothing but fastballs here.
Well, I would assume he's been paying attention. Chris always did as a member of the Diamondbacks, whether he was in the lineup or just sitting on the bench on a given night. Always was very observant to what the opposing pitcher was trying to do, and then would offer advice to his teammates. I got to believe he's been watching every pitch Archie's thrown in this game.
Fastball up. Andrew Chafin starts to warm up again in the Diamondback bullpen. They've got the lefty Parra on deck, and he is ready. Two and 0. Archie 25 pitches in 1 2/3 innings Sunday against San Diego. He's at 26 right now, and he's only got 1 out. Desmond will run. He's got 9 stolen bases this year.
Archie's giving Alan Campbell a little bit of time to take a look at that pickoff throw at first base. It was a lot closer than it appeared. We'll play on. Maybe some question as to whether the foot came off the bag as Goldie was hanging that tag on the leg.
Rockies now have 8 hits, 7 for the D-backs. Blackman flied out to start the inning. Since then, Arenado homered. Singles by Story and Desmond. Just off the plate, but strike 2, says Rob Drake.
One of the few pitches tonight that wasn't in the strike zone that was called a strike. Archie threw one there earlier in the sequence, wanted to get the call, but did not from Rob Drake.
Well, Archie's gone to 2 strike counts on the last 4 batters now. Another quick move over to first, and Desmond is back in time.
Goldie got the tag on him, kind of swiped and missed. The guy doesn't really need to have a big lead to pick him off first base if you can catch him between steps. as he's trying to get out there and get his primary lead, if you can catch him with the foot up in the air, you've got a chance of snapping a throw over there before he can get both feet down on the ground and push back to first base.
2-2. Well, Desmond, when he was in Washington and 1 year in Texas, used to run a lot. He's got 5 seasons with at least 20 stolen bases. Stole 21 for the Rangers 2 years ago, 15 with the Rockies in parts of last season. He was hurt a lot last year. Short right, Souza coming in. Story's at third. He will stay there.
They're lucky there.
Yep. Over Goldie's head. Ath is able to stop it. So here's Parra. Chafin, the left-hander, is ready in the bullpen. And here comes Torey Lovullo. We'll check in with Rob Drake behind the plate. Chafin on his way in, back after this. He'd gone 10 2/3. Arenado homer has made it 5-3. Rockies have the tying runs on the corners. 2 outs in the 7th, and here's the left-hander Andrew Chafin on to face Gerardo Parra. Chafin threw only 10 pitches in that ball game against San Diego on Sunday.
A little bit of a history between Andrew Chafin and Gerardo Parra. 6 at bats. Gerardo 2 for 6 lifetime. Has driven in 1 run.
Double switch. Daniel Descalso takes over at second base, replacing Ketel Marte. So pitcher spot now 6th in the D-backs order. Parra is 0 for 3 today. He's hitting about 190 versus left-handers this year. Story is at third. Desmond at first. He's the tying run. Slider misses low. Pitcher spot up next. Pat Valaika in the on-deck circle. Valaika last year was just about the best pinch hitter in baseball, but he's been in a season-long slump this year. Spent a lot of time in the minors. Bounce to Descalso, cleans it up, and they strand 2. But the Rockies get 1. We hit the 8th. It's 5-3 Diamondbacks. Timmins. Next weekend is Kids Free Weekend at Chase Field. D-backs giving all kids 15 and younger free tickets to any home game next weekend against these Rockies, July 20th through the 22nd. Get up to 2 free kids tickets with the purchase of an adult ticket for that D-backs Rockies series. You can call 602-514-8400 or log on to dbacks.com/kids.
Hey, think about your Little League team. You know, a couple of coaches, you get 2 kids tickets free with each coach. Maybe get a couple chaperone parents to come along. You can take your whole Little League team to a ball game.
All on us. Not a bad deal. Here's the rookie left-hander, Harrison Musgrave. He's been scored on 8 times in 18 games since he was called up from AAA Albuquerque at the end of April. Jake Lamb will lead off the 8th. Jake 0 for 3 tonight. D-backs have been out hit 8-7, but they lead at 5-3. 3 home runs tonight. Ahmed a solo shot in the first. Peralta had the big one, a 3-run home run in the 7th, and then 2 batters later, Pollock went deep for his 12th of the year. Boy, Jake Lamb's seen a lot of lefties lately. Sometimes they come at him in waves, it seems like. And that big at bat against Brad Hand late in the game on Sunday. Had Anderson for 3 at bats. Now here's another one, Musgrave.
And because of Jake's history and the damage he can do against right-handed pitching, he's going to see a lot of lefties, especially when the game's on the line or close ball games. Most teams are going to go out to that bullpen and bring in a lefty to face him.
Fastball was in. 1 out in the 8th. Good day for Jeff Mathis again at the plate. He has singled, walked, and scored a run. Descalso on deck. LeMahieu, 2 down. First at bat tonight for Daniel. Just took over at second base when Chafin came in. 259, 9 home runs. They're in the 7th in San Diego. Padres still lead the Dodgers 4-0. Cubs and Giants still no score. They're in the 6th at AT&T Park. Descalso this year just about 280 against lefties, including 3 home runs.
Yeah, because Daniel hits left-handed pitching as well as he does, it kind of softens the blow of taking a switch hitter out of the ballgame, which Torrey had to do to get some length out of that bullpen. The pitcher spot was due to come up, so he double switched Marte out of the ball game. I know that had to be a tough decision for him because you know, you've got a platoon matchup no matter who Bud Black brings into the ball game.
Yeah, the bullpen is quiet right now for the D-backs, so Chafin will be back out there. Fastball just missed, full count, 3-2. Peralta on deck. Missed with a fastball up, a 2-out walk. Quicken Loans Rocket Mortgage breakdown. D-backs have hit 3 home runs tonight. Ahmed, Peralta, and Pollock. David had the big blow, a 3-run homer in the 7th that made it 4-2. Pollock's solo shot made it 5-2. Arenado homered in the bottom of the 7th to get one back. Swing and a miss. David's home run with a no-doubter over the Rockies bullpen.
Get out your tape measure. That's just an absolute bomb. I mentioned at the time, Carlos Gonzalez never moved. Didn't even come up out of his crouch. Just stood there and watched that ball sail way out over the bullpen.
David's 16th of the year, now one shy of a career high. Down 0-2. A home run against the left-hander Jake McGee. His 4th homer this year against a left-hand pitcher. Looks at a fastball. Musgrave strands the 2-out walk. 5-3 D-backs in the 8th. To start the 8th, he'll face pinch hitter Pat Valleca. And your favorite D-backs from yesterday will be back at Chase Field August 4. It's our annual alumni game presented by Sanderson Ford. And this year's annual alumni festivity start at 2 o'clock. Gates open at 1:30. Scheduled to appear, Gonzo, Steve Finley, David DeLucci, and a whole lot more of your favorites. For all the info, check out dbacks.com/alumni. So here's Valleca to bat for the pitcher in the Colorado 8th. Valleca has not hit this year. He's a .151 with 1 homer. He was down in AAA for a while this year. Didn't hit at Albuquerque either, only about 200. But an excellent pinch hitter last year for Bud Black. Bounces one the other way. Goldie's got it. Chafin there. One down. So now you've got the left-hander Chafin in there to face Cargo, who struck out against Randall Delgado in the 6th inning. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Ottavino starts to get loose again in the Rocky bullpen. D-backs in the ninth will have Ahmed, Goldie, Pollock due up 2, 3, and 4. Always have to be careful with Cargo. He homered in the Rockies game in Seattle on Sunday. It's one in the air, pretty deep left center field. Pollock and Peralta. David calling off AJ. 2 down. Three up, 3 down for Chafin. Here's LeMahieu, who singled and scored in the third. He's 1 for 4. High chopper. Ahmed charges. How about Andrew Chafin? 4 up, 4 down. A 1, 2, 3, 8. We hit the ninth. 5-3 Diamondbacks. On and win will be the bullpen performances of Randall Delgado, who's in line for the win, and now Andrew Chafin, who got a big out to end the 7th and worked a 1, 2, 3, 8. And now Adam Ottavino is on for the Rockies to start the 9th. You were mentioning his numbers earlier, Bob. This is why they feel he should have been an All-Star.
63 strikeouts in 40 1/3. Giving up a couple of home runs, an ERA under 2. This guy has been nails all season long for the Rockies.
Nick Ahmed, Paul Goldschmidt, and AJ Pollock due up for the D-backs in the 9th.
Opponents hitting only 158 against 0.
Ahmed homered in the first, his 12th of the year, 1 for 4. D-backs already 5-1 against the Rockies this year. They have won 8 straight games in this ballpark. Eight consecutive wins at Coors Field is tied for the longest winning streak by the Diamondbacks in any visiting stadium. They won 8 straight at Citizens Bank Park in Philly from 2016 to earlier this year. So a win tonight would break the record. And Ahmed shoots one into left center. Blackman over to cut it off. Nick had a home run in the first and now a double in the ninth.
Boy, hangs in there well against the sidewinding Adam Ottavino. Really drops down, throws across his body, an inside slider, and Nick barrels it up to that gap in left center.
Well, you know, we've said for years, Bob, if Nick could just hit this and do just that at the plate, you would take it in a heartbeat, and he's having that year this season.
Batting average not quite where you'd like to see it, but when he's made contact, he's hit the ball hard this year. He's driven it into gaps and out of the ballpark.
He's got 12 homers, now 18 doubles, 3 triples. Here's Goldie. Goldie singled in the 30s, 1 for 4. Paul, a .326 lifetime hitter at Coors Field. He's played 55 games here, and he's got 62 RBIs.
And he scored 54 runs in 55 games.
Can you imagine a season's worth?
Oh my, wow. There's a lot of ballparks I can imagine Goldie a full season. In Cincinnati, oh geez. Even Yankee Stadium, the way he hits the ball to the opposite field in that short porch at Yankee Stadium.
One home run after another. That hit something on the way by. Not sure if it was part of Goldie, the bat eyeing at his glove, and you heard a tick from way up here.
It might have been the glove, yeah.
Ahmed in at third now. Nice pad run, only 90 feet away. Infield comes in for Colorado. Tried to tie him up inside with a fastball, as teams so often do. It's 3-1. Goldie already with 5 multi-hit games this month. AJ on deck. He homered his last time up. Again inside. A double and a walk open up the ninth. AJ dead center in the 7th. His 12th of the year and his first since May the 8th.
Still amazed at how far that ball carried. Didn't look like a home run swing. It sounded real good coming off his bat, but just kept carrying and carrying just over the glove of Charlie Blackman out there above the center field fence.
Yeah, Blackman didn't want to show us whether he'd caught the ball. First and third, nobody out. D-backs lead at 5-3. Each team now with 8 hits. Well, that's a pretty good cutter right there. Didn't get the call from Rob Drake. AJ has always hit well here. .344 career at Coors. Ahmed at third, Goldie at first. In the air to Cargo. Right field. Ahmed at third, and he will hold there. Goldie tagging up. The throw to second, and they got him. Nick broke toward home, took 3 or 4 steps and stopped. That may have fooled Goldie, thinking that the throw would go home.
Yeah, Cargo did a nice job of getting behind the ball and throwing the ball low enough so his first baseman could cut it off if Goldie did try to advance. If he doesn't cut it off, it probably goes straight to home plate on a hop. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Nick kind of messed up that play right there, bluffing down the line. Goldie thought he was going to try to score, so Goldie did the right thing to try to draw the throw to second base and let Nick score, but unfortunately Nick hit the brakes, went back to the bag at third, and Goldie was caught out in no man's land.
So now quickly 2 down. Souza has walked twice and doubled tonight. really like to get that run home from third. Brad Boxberger warming up in the D-back bullpen. Heart of the order coming up in the ninth. Blackman, Arenado, Story, 2, 3, and 4. Pitcher spot is up next. Alex Avila in the on-deck circle. Boy, Ottavino has thrown 12 pitches, 8 of them balls. Tap to shortstop. Story charges. And that hurts. They had first and third, nobody out. It stays 5-3, bottom 9. Coming up. Summary, 3 Diamondback homers have made it a 5-3 ball game. Brad Boxberger warming up in the D-back bullpen, but Andrew Chafin out there to start the ninth against the left-hand hitting Charlie Blackman.
I would guess the only batter he'll face before a string of right-handers after him, and that would be Brad Boxberger's time.
Chafin has retired all 4 he's faced. He got the last out of the 7th, and then a 1-2-3-8. Blackman had an RBI double in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4. Base hit. Tying run will come to the plate. And it's Nolan Arenado. Brad Boxberger on his way in back after this. Upset and giving up the base hit to the lefty Blackman, which brings the tying run up to the plate with no outs in the 9th inning and brings the closer into the game. It's Brad Boxberger, 21 for 25 at his save chances this year. Arenado, who has walked twice, singled and homered, will be the hitter.
Torrey generally likes to bring Brad Boxberger into a clean inning, but it seemed to make all the sense in the world to have Andrew Chafin face the left-hand hitting Charlie Blackman, and then the string of righties have Brad Boxberger ready for them.
Arenado against Archie Bradley in the 7th. His 23rd of the year. So here we go.
Arenado 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts against Brad Boxberger.
Tying run at the plate, nobody out. Fastballs, a strike, 0-1. In the air, right center. Souza, Pollock. Souza's got it. One away. That's a big out right there. Trevor Story. Story has hits in his last 2 at bats, a double in the 5th, a single in the 7th. So he has now had, Trevor Story, 2 hits each in 6 of his last 7 games. He's rolling right now.
First pitch change up that time from Brad Boxberger, a guy that is steadily hunting fastballs. But as I mentioned several times already, he's a good off-speed strike hitter as well. You know, throw that change up, make sure you keep it down on the edges.
This is low with a fastball. It's a ball and a strike. Jody Jackson standing by. D-backs live post-game show follows our ball game. Another fastball, and it's 1-2. Dodgers are losing 4-0 in San Diego. They're in the 8th inning. Giants trail at home against the Cubs 1-0 in the 7th. 2-2. Fastball just missed down and away, and it's full. Desmond on deck. Goldie holding Blackman on the bag at first. That was in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, Brad Boxberger throws a lot of 90, 91, 92 mile an hour four-seam fastballs right in the middle of the strike zone. I think he must be one of those guys that they say his fastball plays up. Looks a little quicker than it really is because he's getting some foul balls and swings and misses on center cut fastballs.
This is going to be tricky. Shallow center. Pollock runs it down. Blackman's got to hustle back and just does make it. AJ had to come in on a dead run and chase that one down for the second out.
Boy, and good awareness by AJ to know that Charlie Blackman, he got to be able to get to second base if this ball drops, so he's going to go more than halfway down there. AJ makes the catch and throw all in one motion. It's a little closer to the bag. They might have had a chance to double him off.
So Desmond is the tying run at home plate. 2 outs in the 9th. 1 for 4. He singled his last time. Goldie playing behind the runner at first. There goes Blackman. He takes second uncontested. Fastball is low, 2-0.
Rob Drake going to give Jeff Mathis a little extra time. That one rattled around there. Looked like it might have caught him in the mask, maybe in the chest protector too.
You gotta love the Drake.
Let's get one more out before I love the Drake.
2 balls and 1 strike on Ian Desmond. 2 outs, Blackman at second. Fastball is high. Chris Iannetto on deck for Colorado.
Tries to go up the ladder with a fastball. Able to check that time.
That was right there. Changeup was up, but in the strike zone. Instead, it's ball 4, and now the go-ahead run is at home plate, the winning run, and Iannetta with 2 outs. First walk by the D-back bullpen tonight. Iannetta singled in his second, 1 for 4.
That goes without saying. A very key at bat in the ball game right here. Mike Butcher's going to make his way out to the mound, talk it over with the entire infield. Just a review of the scouting report on Chris Iannetta. Make sure they want to know exactly how they're going to go about attacking him here. Maybe even script the first couple pitches of this at bat. See if Jeff Mathis even hangs a sign here when he goes back behind the plate. Sometimes after a meeting on the mound, they determine we're going to start him with, for example, fastball away. If it's a strike, we're coming back with another fastball away. If we miss with the first pitch, the second pitch will be a changeup.
And Iannetta, of course, even though he was the D-backs primary catcher last year, did not see Brad Boxberger, who was in Tampa Bay. 2 on and 2 out.
He just nods his head. They'd already talked about it. Change up in the dirt to start the sequence.
Rockies tonight 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Fastball fouled back, 1-1.
Another one at 90. All over the strike zone, and guys just can't square it up.
I think it's because they're expecting to see changeups.
That could be.
Maybe it just slows the bat down a little bit. One and 2. Third base for Lamb. He beats Blackman to the bag. Boxberger gets the save, and the D-backs get the 5-3 win. They improved to 6-1 versus Colorado this year, and they get their 9th consecutive win at Coors Field. That's a new franchise record for consecutive wins at a visiting ballpark.
That's very impressive, especially in this ballpark. The Rockies have always been very good at their home park. For the Diamondbacks to come in here and do what they've done against the Rockies recently is very impressive.
And there's even better news. It's not a final yet, but they're in the 9th inning at Petco Park, where the Padres lead the Dodgers 4-0. And the Cubs have a 2-0 lead, 7th inning over the Giants in San Francisco. So the D-backs a half game up on LA, 3 up on the Giants, put some room between themselves and the Rockies, and hopefully will get an even bigger cushion atop the division.